All right, welcome to back to Fiegel Files, where law, life, and strength collide. I'm your host, Beauregard Fiegel, strongest lawyer in Texas. Today's episode takes us virtually up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area as I sit down with our guests to talk about what it's really like practicing family law and probate in a major Texas market. Not that San Antonio is not, but you're bigger. How to balance empathy with strategy and the lessons that only come from being in the trenches. Whether you're a lawyer, a business owner, or someone who's facing a family law issue yourself, this is a great conversation you won't want to miss. I'm excited to welcome a seasoned family law attorney based in Dallas-Fort Worth area. Jonathan Fox is a graduate of University of Houston Law Center, brings deep experience from both private practice and his time with the Texas OAG's office, the Child Support Division, where he was named Assistant Attorney General of the Year for the Fort Worth region in 2016. Jonathan has been recognized repeatedly for his service and advocacy, including the Tarrant County Bar Association's Gold Service Award and multiple listings as a top attorney by Fort Worth Magazine. He handles a broad range of family law matters from divorce and custody to child welfare and CPS cases, and also assists clients with probate and estate planning. Today's episode will dive into Jonathan's journey to law, his approach to resolving complex family matters, what it takes to advocate for his clients through life-changing legal challenges. Today's legal heavyweight, Jonathan Fox. Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you. When did you get your law license?
2005.
Oh, okay, so I
Got
can
it.
call you old because I'm 2013. So there we
All
go.
right. I don't
Cool.
feel old, but
Same. No, I don't either. Yeah. And then we both recently got remarried, so we should feel some youth, I think. So
sure.
cool. So you said 2005 you got licensed?
Yeah. I didn't really start family law and maybe till 2008, 2009. I did some other things until then.
Yep.
Um, before before I went to law school, I was in journalism. I have a journalism major, and so I worked for some different publications. And then after law school, I kind of had a relapse and um, worked for a Texas Lawyer newspaper for 2 years. And then, like, well, this isn't what I want to do. And I started taking some like criminal defense appointments. And a friend of mine referred me to do their mom's divorce, and that and some other cases led me into family law.
We define relapse different because I've had drug history in the past. So you relapse to
Okay.
journalism, and I'm like heroin, cocaine. No, okay. Well, cool. All right. So we talked before this, and neither one of us really had an opportunity for a mentor, so we just kind of jumped in and took some cases. Is that about right?
Yeah, it seems right. I mean, it is hard to find a mentor, and sometimes you just fail to ask. I did have a
Yeah.
few that helped me with like criminal defense matters and let me sit second chair on their jury trials. And and then I was kind of left to figure out family law on my own.
Yeah. Right.
But luckily, I didn't mess up anything too bad, and then I did enough cases that my resume looked good enough to apply for a job with the Office of Attorney General, Child Support Division.
When did you start that?
2009.
Oh, and
So
when did you end it?
like about 8 years later, 2017.
Okay.
So
What
pretty long run with them.
what made you take off? Were you able to do like the school and forgiveness for public service or just
I never made it to 10 years
is that a
of
10-year? Okay, yeah.
like I still got if I found a government job and did it for one more year, I could get that. But now my student loan is paid down. I've got it to four figures. So it seems kind of pointless.
Wow.
But for a
Dang.
while, when I went into private practice, I'm like, this is temporary. I'm going to go back into, I need
Yeah.
to finish this 10 years to get the loan forgiveness. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I don't care anymore.
Oh man. Did you enjoy the OAG's office or was it ebb and
Oh,
flow
it
or
was wonderful. I mean, it's a difficult job. I mean, so the Office of Attorney General has a child support division, and they are what's called a 4D agency, as you know, but your
yeah.
listeners may not know. So that means they're part of uh, they receive money from the federal government to set up a child support system, and I think it pays for about like 10%. Well, anyway, the federal government covers their overhead, so they're doing things like establishing paternity, establishing child support orders, and then enforcing the orders when people don't pay, like or modifying the orders when people's circumstances change. So basically, they're given incentives to do all those things. Um, there's some conspiracy theories about the incentives. I've looked into it. It's not really that bad. I mean, isn't that normal for the government to incentivize things that it thinks are useful to society, such as like building roads or police or different things. So, child support is seen as a good for society. I think these agencies started when in the 70s they were like, hey, there's a lot of single parents. What happened to the other parent and why aren't they supporting their child? So, um, and then they also wanted to recoup for government services,
Yeah.
uh, such as Medicaid.
And food stamps back in the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they still keep track of the food stamps. Like, I think if you receive government benefits and you're a single parent, that will set up a child support case,
Yeah.
a mandatory child support case with the Attorney General. So you don't have a choice. You have to be their customer. And then they're going to do what they need to do to set up a child support order to make the other parent pay child support. In Texas, it's a little more complicated. It's actually good the way they do things in Texas because, and it's kind of shocking how some other states do this, but in Texas, before you get to the issue of child support, you have to decide custody. So that,
Yeah.
it might be that the other parent should get custody. There could be a reason for that. So it could be that by the time they get to the child support issue, things are backward from where things started, or at least maybe what the Attorney General thought the situation was. So Texas actually has, um, people don't know this, but they actually have a good system for they put the cart before or the horse before the cart. And so
My
they're
own
figuring out what custody should be. And like maybe that other parent's unfit that requested child support and then get the right person to support the other parent. Or maybe even a, alternating week 50-50 order.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't have a problem with the system in general, like the law. I think it's appropriate. And what you're referencing is other states literally have a child support system apparatus completely set it apart from the divorced from the custody establishment apparatus, which is strange. My issue is though, and my just anecdotal experience, and I've only practiced in Barron surrounding counties. I mean, I've made my way to Fort Worth and places, but 98% of my time is in this 150-mile area, right? Is I get a lot of cases on modifications for people that signed these huge full custody orders, not having a great grasp of what they signed. So you'll get, an OAG, and I'm not like criticizing the attorneys too much, but like you'll have like sole managing conservatorship and findings of family violence without much understanding, or no geographic restriction, which is a big one, without much understanding, or
right.
pretty wonky possession and access schedules. There's a lot of stuff there, and I don't have a solution because I don't think you can divorce the two and just do what other states do. It's like we're going to set up child support even though the other person has 80% of the possession because they asked. That's problematic. But I do see some issues with, again, I'm getting business because I have like a dad that's there's no geo on mom and she's about to bail and they both lived in San Antonio their whole lives. And you're like, that would have been handled if it was handled better. But I don't know what the solution is, but there are some kinks in the system I see, at least
Oh,
on
for
my,
sure.
yeah,
Like they want to give everybody the same product, basically. I
yeah,
mean, that's how you're trained. Like, let's get one parent to be the primary, the other person, and we'll get standard possession and pay standard child support. And so they want to do that because it's an assembly line. It's a cattle
true.
call. They want to do that all day long, whether it's appropriate or not.
Yeah.
And
Well, again, I can complain, but here's the other side is these people that can't afford my $5,000 retainer or whatever yours is, or even worse for some of our colleagues, they at least get resources to get rules in place and child support in place. I don't know, but I would ask like, what's the average child support number you're seeing in the OAG's office? 400 or 500 a month, I would guess, right?
yeah, I mean, you're talking like a lot of minimum wage orders.
Yeah.
So, people that don't have a lot, and to them, it's a lot, like
Right.
300, 400, like
Yeah.
it's like not for us, but
I
for
don't want to
them.
sound like a first world asshole about it, but yeah, I mean, there's a different world. It does feel uncomfortable to be like, there's different access to justice. Like, you can have this imperfect system, and people that can afford our retainers can get theoretically a better result, or at least a more thorough result. But that I guess there's just a reality to that. There's just too many cases. Because imagine without the apparatus of the Attorney General's Child Support Division, what it would look like. I don't really even want to know. I think a lot of attempts at pro ses, and I guess a lot of our colleagues would just find some assembly in the line way to take like 750 or 1,000 for a custody case, and then that has its own problems. So I don't know what it would look like. So yeah. So let's see. You started '08, so you were on your own 3 years before you went to the OAG's office? Three or
Maybe
four?
a little less. Like
Okay.
I worked for Jim Ross in Arlington, who he's the mayor of Arlington now. He's going on
Oh,
his
cool.
third term as mayor, running for his third term. Really great experience. Really appreciate that he took me in
Yeah, right.
after I left the AG and just got a lot of, nuts and bolts family law experience, going to the courthouse every day, temporary orders hearings, um, and he had an interesting clientele. Maybe you can relate to this. Like he's kind of a big burly man, and so he attracts people that are looking for that. And then he'd be like, "Well, thanks for coming on. Here's your lawyer, Jonathan."
Well, like I haven't met you in person. Maybe you're like 6'8", and I just don't know what you actually look like. So you know what I mean?
Well,
Like, yeah,
I think they were looking for something a little different.
that's
A lot of
funny.
them I got along with, but maybe 1 out of 10, they're like, "Yeah, this isn't really what I wanted."
That's funny. I get because I've got the tattoos, right? And I've got, a look, and like I obviously go out of my way to do the Texas strongest persona. And
I
so
love
it
that.
does.
Like, I don't, yeah, I was just thinking like, um, watching your videos, I think, you are highlighting being a strong man, but I think you're also highlighting the discipline of being a strong man and the perseverance. So it's not, I love the message that you're sending about those
Thanks.
types of qualities.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, it's organic and easy because it's a genuine part of my life. So it's just easy to combine that social media and what I do, that element. But I won't lie, like it's a very self-interest. Like it's easy to just put that together for a marketing campaign. I tend to be, I mean, I tend to be pretty agreeable, like with most of my colleagues. Like I'll be an asshole in court if I need to be, but I don't know. The way I've had some encounters with some of our judges of late, maybe I'm more of a jerk than I thought. I've had some rough goes lately, so I don't know. But it's fun. But yeah, I mean, I've got that shtick, but it leads to more people like begging for quote father's rights, which of course I'm in favor of in general, but not the way that they say it. Not like with a chip on my shoulder, like the world, like Texas is out to get dads, which I don't know if you believe. I don't think so. I think the law is actually quite fair in Texas. But actually, I'm curious about that. I would argue in Bexar County, um, dads have a pretty good go. We have judges that very much are leaning 50-50 on temp orders, trying to push that in final. And dads, especially after about age 3, have a pretty equal shot towards primary as moms. Is Dallas Fort Worth in that vein, or where are you guys at? And I know it's judge to judge and case to case, but
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen like a bias toward moms
yeah,
as some people might think. It's really about the facts. Like I have a case where mom took the child to another state, and before she did that, the mom and the dad lived in the same house, and so that dad now had the child's been returned, and he's got the right to determine primary residence. So it is
yeah,
about the facts, like what led up before the separation, how involved was the father. Um, asking for 50-50, it shouldn't be kind of a way to short circuit child support. It should reflect, what you're actually doing as a parent. Um,
yeah.
because yeah, so um,
That was my mediation yesterday. I had the mom and the dad was begging for 50-50 time and was offering guideline support. We argued about what guideline support was, but the argument wasn't I want to pay less. The argument was give me more time, and that's where we landed at the end. So it worked
that's
out.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you love to see it when you've got, somebody that, did put in the work and deserves it, and you can get a result like that. Mhm.
yeah, we get some, but I would have guessed you get plenty of the dads have seen the kids once a month at most. They're getting sued for an enforcement, and then they want to sue for custody or 50-50. And you're
Well,
like,
when
bro,
when you work at the Attorney General's office, you don't always get the best impression of dads. Like you're dealing
fair.
with like a lot of the dads that aren't doing anything, that are not in their kids' lives, haven't paid the
Yeah,
support. They're not, and then so we're trying to send them to motivate them to start paying by threatening jail.
yeah,
And it's very forgiving. Like it takes a long time to go to jail, but as an assistant attorney general, you are. a prosecutor, and so I sent a lot of dads to jail.
There's a
Uh,
it's a go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Um, I was thinking about the one time, and I made a TikTok video about this, where there was somebody showed up with a DNA test, like not the real father. However, there was already an order ordering him to pay child support. And there's a
Oh,
procedure to go through where you can, it's called mistaken paternity, and you can get the order terminated. It, um,
there's this
and I
4 year
was like,
statute on that though, right? Like don't you have a
yeah,
4 year statute of
basically,
limitations?
like once you
Yeah,
find out you're not the dad, you've got a short time window, like I think 1 or 2 years, and after that, statute of limitations, you can't do it. So you
yeah,
don't really hear about these cases anymore. When the law first came out, there were a lot more of them. So basically, this attorney came in with these DNA results. He's not the dad. And I'm like, oh crap. Like, what are we gonna do? This is bad.
yeah.
Like, we're all gonna be on the news. We're gonna be on the Fox 4 News. And
Yeah.
so I tried to work out a deal where he would just go on probation. And I was like patting myself on the back. I'm like, this is great. He's not going to jail. So we took our agreement into the judge's chambers to get the judge to sign it. And she almost did. I feel like now I've almost given away too much on the identity of this judge. I was
That's
like, keep it
well,
gender neutral.
that's
That
funny.
messed up.
Nah,
So
yeah.
this is a long time ago. Um,
All our
and
judges are female now, so you'd be safe here. Yeah.
Um, so she basically nixed our deal and sent the guy to jail and was fully aware that he was not the father. And was like,
Oh,
I'm going to be hearing about this one, but I never did hear about it. So,
that's a habeas or a mandamus, right? Because like if you don't hear evidence on the record, you can't even can you do that? Or did
well,
she
I
actually have
think
a hearing
eventually
after
we
the
did
fact?
go into the courtroom. She just,
Okay. Okay.
used her discretion, like to cancel our deal, to not approve it. So,
Try to think. I mean, I get like in a criminal setting. I know it's quasi criminal, but if you're the petitioner in that instance, you representing the state, not technically representing mom, but sort of in a capacity. And
yeah.
if y'all aren't requesting that, I don't know that the court can do that. I guess they could say in the best interest of the child, I can do what I want. I guess that's that mechanism there. That's an interesting one. I don't know. I've never thought. I wonder how that appeal would look because if you're not requesting that relief, if you waive that relief, and I just want probation, that'd be, imagine it was something else. Like I don't want an injunction. I'm granting an injunction. Like I didn't ask for it, so I don't know. That's
Yeah,
weird.
maybe you could run that one upstairs with a de novo, go to the district judge, get him out.
Oh, was it a Title IV judge?
Yeah,
Okay,
4D. And so
yeah,
yeah, I've
48.
had
Yeah,
similar cases. Like now I get people out of jail mostly. Don't do too many enforcements or I'm the petitioner. And I had a guy that he paid everything, but he did pay it kind of late. But he was down to zero by the date of the trial and he was sent to jail. And I was like, this is crazy. The guy paid every dollar. So I
Ooh.
went to the district judge and got him out.
How long was the sentence?
I guess 6 months, but he probably would have gotten like either 2 for 1 or 3 for 1. Um,
Jesus.
not sure, but yeah, that was the wildest one. I just I got appointed on an enforcement. Um, the judges don't really know who to appoint for these child support enforcements, the ones that are in district court. So
Yeah,
one court is appointing me, and they're like, Mr. Fox, you really don't need to do these appointments. I'm like, I guess it's kind of fun. So you can keep doing it, but
they can't pay that much. I mean, maybe they
they really
do. I don't
don't.
know. I was gonna say,
But
yeah.
I mean, like, I got this guy off basically, like, um, because the other side, the petitioner, forgot an element. Like, it's like a criminal offense. You got to prove all
Mm-hmm.
your elements. They proved 3 out of the 4, and at the end of their case in chief, I'm like, I asked for judgment, dismiss this. They didn't state, months that he didn't pay. Like, where are the specific violations?
Yeah.
And that guy walked.
I've
Um,
got a one right now pending, and I think he got way too harsh a sentence on the contempt order, 179 days because people plead that because they can't ask for the jury trial if they do 179 concurrent. So the 179 a huge lump sum payment. He was only 6.5 months behind. It was a huge order though. The guy had max support, and he's about 6.5 months behind. Had a slow year. His argument, slow year. They're like, well, you spent this, and whatever. So anyway, he got 4 years probation, 4 year, 179 days, 4 years probated, had to pay $7,500 in 4 weeks, and then like 350 towards the arrearage and pay the monthly support. Well, the order was rendered orally late October, but wasn't signed till December 3rd. But the lump sum was due mid-November. He was 3 days late on the lump sum because he couldn't get the bank transfer over a weekend, and then paid the monthly, was paid up by the time the order was signed. Then they bring the revocation. One, they don't swear to it. Two, they don't list the violations. And three, the order wasn't signed yet. So they're mad at me, but I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It was he
Yeah,
complied by the time the order was signed, and it's been a mess. But the judge was looking to revoke him even after paying. So yeah, it depends on what judge you get. It can be pretty rough in that world. So do your best to pay your support if you're in a different world.
that's something I enjoy actually is going over to the jail to see clients. Like sometimes I haven't gone lately, but with CPS cases, sometimes I'll have a client in jail. It's sort of a privilege as a lawyer to go there and they have a special room for attorneys and to talk to your client and
Yeah,
sometimes get good information, find a placement that CPS didn't find. So, as a
yeah.
prosecutor or as an assistant attorney general, I never went to the jail. I didn't really have to see the product of what I did.
No, yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's tough.
I mean, I didn't want people to go to jail. I just wanted to pay them to
No.
pay their child support. We try to work it out. Jail's like a last resort.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it doesn't, I mean, let's be clear, it doesn't make sense in a lot of instances. I mean, it's a good stick, carrot
Motivator.
stick, if it's there, but obviously they're not earning funds in jail. So,
Yeah.
it should be a last resort. I mean, it doesn't make much sense otherwise. So, most of the time, 95% of the time, the judges I'm in front of in most of these counties, suspended probation, pay a lump sum, pay. And if they're in some kind of substantial compliance, it is what it is, and just do your best. It's got to be pretty egregious in a second, third, or fourth enforcement to really be talking like some punitive jail time. And even then, like what I've said to judges, like throw him in for a weekend, please, so he knows what it feels like, and then come back and we can discuss further what's appropriate. So
Yeah, work
but
release is
yeah,
one way to make it a little less onerous.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, I don't want anybody to go to jail. The Tarrant County jails had a lot of deaths. I'm like, y'all are asking for jail too much.
Yeah. Oh, Bear is bad. I don't know. Y'all's is bad too. We have like 10, 12 suicides a year. That's
Ooh.
the food is they're under like a federal lawsuit for civil rights on food. 10 officers a year are prosecuted for rape of the female inmates. Like it's horrible over here. So
Mm.
yeah, I'll pass. I don't want to
I know, like when private attorneys are asking for jail, I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, well,
go.
let's try not to send people over there if we can.
Yeah. Well, and again, there's so many other remedies on child support. I mean, it's the most enforceable money judgments there are. You can
Yeah, they
levy
never
bank
stop.
accounts. Yeah, I mean, you never stop. It never discharges in bankruptcy. There's no 10-year like judgment. You have to renew whatever that's called in the civil judgment side, and it accrues interest the entire time. Wait, you can wage withhold. You can lien any real estate. You can lien any money judgment. I mean, yeah, there's some people that get away judgment proof, but most people, dude, like it'll come to you at some
Oh,
point.
well, some people think they got away with
Uh,
it until they're like, I'd like to collect my Social Security now. And then like
nope.
they're taking out half the social.
Hmm.
I did a post. I got this call from this gentleman who they got a $6,500 judgment against him in 1990.
Oh,
And
what's the interest? Oh no.
well, that was back when they were doing 12% interest. Now it's
Oof.
6%. But
Yeah.
this guy got hammered, and by like year, I think there were some payments, and so by the time he got to year 36, he's got a six-figure judgment or arrearage that he has to pay.
Oh,
And I did the math. I'm like, is this legit? Like, is this guy telling me the truth? So I found like an interest calculator and I used 12% interest. I guess it's compounding interest because there was a judgment
yep.
and it came out to more like $360,000. I think
Oh,
this guy was in the 200s, but I'm like, this is a crazy situation. Like, okay, I know that nobody likes these guys. They're like, I don't care what happens, FAFO, like that's your
yeah.
fault. You didn't pay it. But I mean, maybe let's talk about public policy. Like,
A
is it
little
really
bit.
good that we're doing this to seniors.
Yeah.
Like I've heard stories where people a lawyer was volunteering at a homeless shelter, and they're like, "Why are you in the shelter? What happened?" Like, "Oh, the child support. They're taking it out of my Social Security." So, um, I
Oh,
guess Texas is like, we kind of have a problem. Let's lower the interest rate to 6%. They need to go a little further and help out inmates and give them a credit for the time that they serve. And I know people are going to hate that. Like, it's your fault. You did this
yeah.
voluntarily. You did crime. But, we have an interest in rehabilitation. I guess this is my unpopular opinion, that, you know, when you get out, you shouldn't be facing a crushing arrearage. You should get a fresh start. So there should be able to be a credit against your child support arrears for the time you were incarcerated. Um, so I don't know.
Well,
That's my
it
unpopular opinion.
I don't fully disagree. I mean, it should match maybe similar things that creditors could do. Like if you had an Amex card with a $10,000 limit, you maxed it, in 10 years, it wouldn't be worth 300 grand. It'd be worth
Yeah.
17 grand. Like something like that. And again, I don't have a problem with interest per se, but maybe not compound, maybe only annual against the principal. Like things like that can mitigate because I had a veteran once and he had three baby mamas, but one was the biggest judgment part of it. And you'll know this. There's an interesting little blurb in the family code. You can attack a withholding order if there's no judgment, and the defense can be like credits or the amount of the arrearage. So I use that, serve the mom, and I go before a judge, and there was basically it was the same way. There was like a 10,000 principal and like it's for $70,000 in interest or something like that. And there was a mild suggestion that he should have possession credits in the testimony, and then mom had waived some, and there were some direct payments. But instead of the judge saying that, what the judge said on the record was, I'll waive the interest. Well, can't do that statutorily. And so they motioned to reconsider it and won. And I'm like, Judge, just say it's something else so we can knock 50 grand off and he can pay it. And I mean, I won at the first level, but of course the staff attorney when they filed their motion to reconsider,
Oh,
looked at it like, Beau, I love you, but I can't advise my judge. That's going to be appealed. Like, all right, well,
yeah. The AG's
you
got an
suck.
appellate division. They're gonna appeal anything like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It stayed at the trial level, and then they stayed with the trial court, but our staff attorneys reviewed it and were like, Beau, like you can't do that, right? Like, well, I didn't ask for the interest. I asked for a hit. I asked for possession credits. I can't do that, but almost got away with it. It's okay. You never know. Oh man. So you do estate planning now? I'm sorry,
I do
probate.
some probate. I was like, I need to diversify. Like, and
Yeah.
I need to go to other buildings. So, family law is my main thing. But a couple years ago, um, I was like, I'd like to learn about probate. There seem to be a lot of family law attorneys that also do some probate. So I took a pro bono case. Like basically, what we have to do is like experiment on the poor to get ex So I was like, I'll take this pro bono
I mean,
and
hold on. I mean, let's freeze there because that's an unfortunate but a real reality. That's your court-appointed cases because there's not many public defenders offices I'm aware of in Texas. So your court-appointed misdemeanor lawyer or low-level felony lawyer is probably a guy with 0 to 5 years experience, guy, girl. Um, fighting for $140 a case or $300 a case or $500 a case, which might sound like a lot. I promise it's not for the work and their law school loans and or what you would pay privately. And they're going in blind and talking to the DA, having no clue and just looking at the colleagues that know what they're doing. And how do I handle this? And then like law school does not prepare you to practice. It prepares you to understand what you're thinking and what you're reading and maybe to craft arguments later. But practicing law and running a business are very different and than law school. So yeah, whether it's criminal, early family cases that are probably the easiest to get as far as being a solo practitioner
yeah.
or probate cases, it's if you don't have any kind of marketing, I know you have a big social media marketing now and um but until then, you take what you can get. So yeah, there's a level you're experimenting on the poor, and it kind of is. So it's
So
strange to
it worked
say,
out
but it's
good for
there.
me. And ever since that
Yeah.
one case, it was like a widow of a veteran. I've been doing uncontested probates, which are Mostly paperwork, but those judges, it's more the probate court is more like a really strict accounting firm, and like you send them your paperwork, you file it, and they're like, "We're rejecting this. You did this, this, and this wrong," and then you have to go fix it. Um, so I like it though. Like I like going
We've
down
got
there and seeing different lawyers, and
yeah, we've got three probate courts in Bear with three different staff attorneys that if I sent the same pleading to three, they would all three have different objections. So the staff attorneys will review it. Nothing like this in family. Nothing. I get away with murder. You know, if I write want divorce badly, I could probably get like at fault grounds. Like it's that easy on the pleadings in family. Probate, no. So they'll all kick them back. And I have to go through the same thing. It's a weird, and probate law changes all the time,
Hmm.
all the time. So it's just a mess. So are you still doing mostly agreeds, or are you working in some contested probate now?
No, well, I guess I haven't done any contesteds. They haven't really come to me. Um, I also do CPS. Um, so sometimes I have some privates, mostly appointments. Um, but I like that. Like
Are you
it kind of
appointed to the
keeps
parents or the kids or
sometimes you'll represent the parents, sometimes the kids, and sometimes you're
okay.
doing like searching for for missing parties or unknown parties.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I get to
Those are
be
those are the easy ones. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have associate courts for your child court cases, for your CPS cases?
We do. I mean, I'm only really doing CPS in Tarrant. I'm not going to other counties.
Okay.
I think, Dallas has them. I mean, I think pretty much all the counties have them, but maybe some of these judges are on like a circuit where they go to different counties.
Okay.
Um,
So
so
you get the same de novo opportunity is what I'm asking.
correct.
Um, okay. Do you often take advantage of that?
Well, I feel like with CPS cases, there's a lot of different parties. It's not just a mom and a dad. And if you don't build consensus, including with the attorney ad litem for the children and the department. That's what we call CPS. Like if
Yeah.
you're just out there by yourself, then you don't usually don't have a very good chance of winning. So CPS is a lot of soft skills and figuring out the timing of things and encouraging your client to move forward. Um, so basically, I don't do too many de novos. I'm more likely to do de novos in a family law case.
I got you. I'm I am almost like I'm maturing past this a little, but on a borderline vendetta against the department. Like in our experience here, my experience here, if I don't take appointments, it's only retained. So and that might color my experience because just let's be honest, people who can afford to retain, there's a higher likelihood of better defenses than people who are more impoverished and can't. So maybe just some corollary, right? Some correlation between if you can't afford it, maybe the drug issue is a problem or a poverty or a mental health issue that leads to rationalizing the removal. But um, I go in and like in our courts, they'll schedule 4 262 hearings for an afternoon. And I'm like, well, I'm not agreeing. And mine's going to take 2 days. And you might as well send me to the district court because if I don't get the result I like, I'm going to try again. And they look at me like I'm a jerk. And I'm like, this is my only shot. If you don't have immediate harm, but I feel like there's a pretty rubber stamping that goes on court to court, more in the associate courts than in the district courts, but even the district courts they will tell you they're playing it safe, right? They'll say, I've got concerns. And I'm like, well, the word concerns isn't in the family code, but I'm glad you have concerns. Like it says clear and present immediate danger. And a lot of the cases I'll get are they asked for like a motion to participate or asked to participate in services 6 months ago for something that happened 6 months ago. They tarry along, but nothing's happened in the last 6 months. And then they ask for the removal because they didn't participate. And I'm like, where's your urgency? And
Mhm.
sometimes I win, and sometimes the judge looks at me like I'm a crazy person because they're like, "We're here to protect the kids," and I'm like, "Well,
Uh-huh.
I'm here to follow the law," like, and they get mad at me. So I clearly I'm on the outside of the consensus of how to handle those cases, but I just have a bad taste in my mouth of some of the ones I've seen, and maybe that's something I should grow up from. But I struggle a lot with
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of have gone through periods where I stopped taking them and just because I got frustrated. But I mean, I get a lot of satisfaction from where parents are reunified and
Yeah.
when there's good outcome for kids.
Yeah, it's there's great ones where they do embrace the services. Everybody's working together, a consensus. They're great. I have a couple of those stories, and it gets dismissed in the end. And I do have great working relationships with the DAs that are doing it. Um, I think just my last couple years where the allegations are somewhat severe to justify the removal and unproven. And a lot of times I'll get these cases where they're saying, we worked all our services but didn't complete them because they didn't acknowledge the allegations. Like, hold on, you mean I didn't tell you and prove your case for you? Like, you don't get both, and that's where our tension gets. And now we're at a trial where they can't really prove it. I can't fully disprove it, though the burden of proof seems switched and we just can't get to a consensus and it's just hard. So I don't have a sometimes I win those and it's great. Sometimes I lose.
It's not for
Oh,
everybody. I think there are a lot of
no.
family law attorneys that are like, I don't want to be involved in cases where there's abuse or neglect. So you kind of have to put on your like radioactive suit and go in there and
Oh
do
man.
it.
It's hard to explain to people because you've been a criminal and you do CPS and you do family and you're defending child support guys like we represent the alleged bad actors too. I mean, and they need lawyers probably way more than the good guys. Like it's just, like the system can be crushing. We just talked about the jail system for child support, which again has its place, but it can be excessive, or in my opinion, excessive or misapplied. And then of course you can lose your kids or go to jail on the criminal side. So our role matters a lot more for those guys, I think, than it does
Yeah, maybe
sometimes
some
for the
people are
good
like,
guys.
oh, it's just divorces. That's not important. Um, so yeah, it's not really that way at all.
No.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh, and even to divorces, man, like even uncontested. I made a video of like why get a lawyer. Like, well, I mean, I don't know if you have the experience. I have case after case where they did it on their own and they didn't like put for sale language for the house. And so like one person's awarded the house, the other person's on the loan for the next 30 years. Like you fuck that up and there's
I
nothing I
know.
can do. Like nothing. And that kind of stuff matters. Or you didn't put
Uh,
a geographic restriction and now mom married a military guy and wants to move to Zambia. Like, what do you want me to do? You should have paid the money back then. I mean, you know it sucks, but there's a lot of places to go wrong in our world and you sure wish that you had, right?
yeah,
like
that's
you had
crazy.
those.
Like a lot of mistakes can be fixed in family law, but there are some that cannot.
Yeah.
And you have a client's like, yeah, we did this ourselves, but can you fix it? And like, this is one I can't fix.
Yeah, it's tough. Oh man.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So your practice, are you solo? You have a firm? How's this working?
I am solo. I guess I've been solo since was it 2019? But I have two right now. I have two people working for me. I've got a paralegal and a legal assistant.
Okay.
Um, I had a part-time attorney that was helping, and she's a stay-at-home mom. She's taking a break right now.
Okay.
Um, and I've got an office in Grapevine. This is my office here.
Where's
I've been
Grapevine?
Grapevine is in northeast Tarrant County. It's to the northeast of Fort Worth, and
Okay.
it's let's see. It's kind of a tourist attraction. It's got like a nice walking area with a lot of boutique shops. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of yeah, there's like a lake here. There's a Great Wolf Lodge, there's Meow Wolf, lots of things. So Grapevine's kind of a tourist attraction city in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But it allows me to kind of go all the directions I want to go. Like Tarrant County's my main county. That's about 30 minutes away, but Dallas is about a similar drive. And
Okay.
love Dallas. And then I'll go to Denton. Trying not to go to Colin too much. For some reason, that's like longer. And I'm just kind of me and Colin are spending some time apart right now. I don't know what it
That's
is. I'm
funny.
like, they're okay,
Uh,
but
you have those times where like you just get a couple bad results. Like, I don't feel like this anymore. Like, I'm just not, I'm tired of getting my ass kicked. Like, nah, that's fine. So you got two work for you, but you have a big social media presence. Do you do that on your
you
own? Do you have
think
someone
so?
helping you? Yeah. No, I don't. I was asking. I don't know.
I guess so. I mean, like, I get a lot of feedback from other attorneys, and
Mhm.
I've had a number of videos go viral, which is pretty crazy. I've never, um, so in the past like 2 years, I started a TikTok page for my law firm. Before then, I'd make like a Facebook post, you'd write something out. I tried
Sure.
a blog on my website. Instagram didn't really seem to do anything, and I never really got much of a response from what I do on social media. And then I had a client, and she had a TikTok page. The other side was trying to make an issue out of it, where all she was doing was syncing to some songs that had curse words. But I'm like, this was interesting, and I saw some other lawyers on there, and the idea just kind of presented itself. I'm like, I'd like to try this. So I started to make videos, and I'm like, TikTok. I think a lot of attorneys look down on it initially, but I began to like the community and just enjoy it. Just the different perspectives and people giving their opinions. It just felt very true. And maybe Instagram earlier was about appearances and putting on a show, and it just was people talking and telling their stories and telling their truths. And so I'm like, I think I'll give this a try, and I just started making videos. And the first videos were not the great, but I got better at making the videos. And eventually, my videos started to get some traction. I'm like, what's going on? The videos are going viral, and they're a creator attorney from West Texas, um, shared one of my posts, which went crazy. And so it's just something I enjoy to do. And it's not necessarily, I mean, it is marketing, but I mean, I just kind of do it for its own sake. Like, I like,
Nice.
it fills a creative need. I was a
Right.
journalism major. I like the editing part of it and
Yeah.
thinking of a script in my mind and putting it together. Um, so it's kind of like I just do it for its own sake. It's not
That's
not about only the marketing, and the marketing is kind of a nice side effect. Um, but we're not supposed to advertise unless we get permission from the bar. So I don't say like hire me. I just
yeah.
kind of talk about the law, and so it's been really fantastic.
Is
Like
it driving business for you though?
A little bit, but I think it gives me visibility among other attorneys, which
Yes.
is really good because they will refer me, and it just gives me visibility in the courthouse.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the clients, although it does bring in some clients, although they're probably not the best paying clients.
So I that's what my assumption. So when you're talking about people looking down on TikTok, I was that guy. I was doing Google ads and they were hit or miss. I'd pay thousands a month and sometimes it was great and sometimes I would just be out thousands and it was really scary month to month to make payroll and overhead. And the wife of a client came up to me and literally offered herself a job with me saying, I can do the SEO on your website and I'll create these social media. She gave me like a 10-page outline of her plan and stair step of options, and one was create a TikTok. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of like I'm not getting much ROI anyway. And in a couple of years, if this just isn't working out, I'm just gonna ask a firm for a job and take a little pay cut and just live my life. I'm tired of the anxiety month to month. And so like 7 months ago, I made the switch to I stopped paying Google ads. I used that money to pay the marketing girl, and she did an Instagram, modified my Facebook, created the TikTok, and we're not huge now, but it's like 1,800 in 6 7 months. I haven't had like I don't know what counts as viral. I've had a couple in like the 80,000 range and then some in like the 10, then a bunch like a couple hundred. But um and then I wanted to do the podcast for the kind of the same things you said, just the outlet, the creative need. And then it also was I just have clip to the page. So, now I don't just have to spend a day
I
recording
mean,
goofy
it's
ass TikToks
amazing.
and
We can
trends.
talk to the world,
Yeah.
and you know, I've never really had this kind of voice. It is my business, but you can it's your whole outlook, your values, and you're just talking about things, and people are listening, asking questions. So it's been a really wonderful experience.
Yeah, so to back to the first point, I've gotten good clients from it. I've gotten high
Mhm.
paying clients, and I was shocked. And people our age and older. Like I thought I was marketing to younger people on TikTok. That just isn't the case. Plenty of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. But I agree. What I love about the social media in general, and especially the TikTok, it's almost demystifying the attorneys and this aura around us for people, and I think they get a relatability that they wouldn't get. And I mean, obviously, I go out of my way for that, right? With the tattoos and saying the
Yeah,
strongman
that's
shit. Like I'm one of you, like or I'm a stronger version of you, right? So the joke is, but but I do think with yours and others, it's like I'm a human being. I'm giving you very down and dirty, nitty gritty insight to my world. Here's what happens, good, bad, ugly, and contrast that with traditional attorney marketing. It's, here's, I mean, I have nice suits, custom and all that shit, but they're wearing their nicest suit, filtered or made up in pictures, very, very scripted, stand up and hire me, fight for justice. It's either corny or it's over the top, like like over professional and almost out of touch with, like, dude, these people are getting divorced because someone cheated or they hit someone or they're going to jail because they stole something or their kids are getting taken from them because they can't get off cocaine. Like there's a rawness to what we actually do where you're going to probate because your husband died or whatever it is. These are very real things, and I do think people are relating to hearing the human being talk to them through social media. And then when they meet us, phone or in person, they're meeting that person that they met. It's not just a facade or an image that's created for the public. So I do think that relatability makes a big difference in marketing. And it's a
yeah.
it's a change from traditional and gives us a chance to compete against guys that are, 40 years in the business established and just have clientele that are, ever evolving, right? So good for this. Works out.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. So you've been practicing 2005. Oh, you're a 20 year guy now. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah. So what would you give a second and third year law student? And maybe they're kind of like us. They don't necessarily have like great internships coming out, or they had to work through law school. So they're not just like super connected with work and they want to go solo practitioner, or they don't know where to go. What do you tell like the young law student? What do I do next?
Well, I mean, I think some trial advocacy in law school is essential.
Yeah.
Maybe a clinic would be great if you're able to do it, if you have that opportunity. Working in law firms, I think mentoring, finding a mentor, just basically forcing people to be your mentor, having somebody you can call to bounce ideas off of. Um, and you have to stay centered. If it becomes personal, you've basically lost. Like you can't care about it more than the client. Like you have to give it your best, but you have to maintain detachment to some degree.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just going to be angry all the time, and you're going to burn out so bad.
I agree. The mentor, especially, and I don't think you'll have trouble. You have to make the effort to put yourself out there. But I think most people, especially if they've gone through any experience like you and I did, having to start on our own and like deer in the headlights, get your ass kicked in court a few times, you're like, holy shit, like this is hard. And then like we don't want that for the next guy. Like, here, let me get you. And I have dozens of colleagues that I would point to as big brothers, big sisters that have like guided me through
Yeah.
time. I remember like my first year, I get a client, like a YMCA dad of a soccer dad, and he paid me, I don't know, it wasn't a lot, very low four figures, but it's a lot for me at the time, right? And he wanted me to file a motion. Uh, the other attorney had filed a motion for a non-jury trial, and my guy had filed a jury demand. And he goes, "You need to strike that. You need to sanction that attorney." So I filed it, right? It was in my form builder, and I file it. And we go to court on my motion. And the lady, her name is Melissa Ortiz, and we're very good friends to this day. She very politely, "Hi, would you like to confer?" Sure. We normally don't sanction each other, but if you want to proceed, that's okay. And I said, "Well, ma'am, like, why did you set a non-jury?" She goes, "Mr. Fiegel, there's no jury issues." Like, I didn't even know the difference. Like, there was no geo, no primary, that was on the table. That was like a modification of possession active support. Like, he doesn't have jury issues, Bo. We can't have a jury. And like, oh, can I withdraw the motion? Yes. And like, it's those kind of things. And then she's been a friend to this day. And
That's
I
good. Yeah,
can't
she
other
could have
stories
been
like that.
angry, like I'm outraged
Mhm.
by his conduct, and
Yeah.
like That's definitely the right way to approach it. I had a similar circumstance where somebody filed a divorce when there already had been a divorce and there weren't any like common law divorce issues. I'm like, why was this filed? So I just kind of short-circuited by filing my own modification of the divorce and
Mhm.
served their party on it. And I'm just like, hint, hint, non-suit your divorce. And eventually, she did. I didn't have to like shame her in the
Yeah,
courtroom or do anything like that. And so that was a much better way to deal with it. And I mean, we're supposed to be mentors and help our colleagues. And like I didn't know this attorney, but now I do. And now we're colleagues, and she's another friendly face in the courtroom.
yeah.
So that was a much better way to handle it.
And I mean, the other piece of advice on the other side of that is to the person in that situation, like do your best to hear the other side and don't take it personal when that happens. Like don't double down because you were
Yeah.
wrong. Like we're all going to be wrong often. I lose half my cases. And whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Like facts are going to be what they are, and judges are going to hear what they hear. Um, and Yeah, that's the hardest part. How much weight do you put on? Because I put a lot on familiarity with your judges, whether it's reputation or just literally knowing that human being and what they like to hear. Because I think it's significant. But I'd be curious what you think.
I mean, I think a lot, and that can be difficult for clients when I'm like, and I'm like, we don't have any chance here. Like, I never want to say 100%,
Yeah,
but um, that's just difficult because they might have an issue where they want to keep fighting on, and I don't think that's good for them. So that can be challenging just to convince them. I guess you just need a lot of credibility with your client.
yeah. It's hard, and just I don't know, a lot of lessons. I think one of the harder lessons I learned too was I need to articulate this correctly. Sometimes you've got to stand up to the judges. Never disrespectful, never
Yeah.
unprofessionally. But I remember very distinctly in front of a judge. It's still there, and I like her to this day. I've had bad rulings, good rulings, whatever. But we go in on a mod of temp orders, and it was relatively short lived after the first temp orders. And she goes, "Well, I think I'm going to deny it. Like, respectfully, judge, I've subpoenaed two people. I'm set. I need a record. And so I understand your preliminary thoughts, but I need it." She goes, "Mr. Fiegel." I said, "Ma'am, I'm entitled. I'm asking there." And sure enough, we go through all the evidence and I didn't get everything I wanted, but some things changed. And that was the first time I'm like, stop letting them bully you. That doesn't mean don't listen, but you can stand up to a judge and do your job. And your job sometimes is well, to me, my job is primarily get everything in front of them and let them make the decision. Everything that you prepared that's appropriate, relevant, within the scope that you and your client discussed and prepared, get it into evidence and get it framed the best way. And at the end of the day, and not your call, right? But that's my job. And sometimes that's hard because the judge doesn't want to hear it. Well, I've made my decision. Like, well, I understand, but I've got three more witnesses, so you're going to hear it. But I had to learn that. I had to learn that. That's hard to do when they're looking at you like rolling their eyes. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you can't be intimidated. I mean, you have to make a record.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, sometimes they will surprise you. You're like, this judge will not do 50-50, but I have a case where we got a custody evaluation that recommended 50-50, and it was right for this case. This was like a special needs child. These parents really needed to collaborate. Um, so there was a day-long trial, and the judge did order the 50-50, even though this was a judge had a reputation of
yeah.
not doing that and telling people that he wasn't going to do it. So,
You never
yeah,
know, get your case out there. And again, if you're respectful, but respectful can still be stern, you're like, I get a record, judge. I understand. I've had a case in another county now. I'm not going to say the county because I don't want to give the judge away, but you know, um, I've got a guy who hasn't seen his kids in 9 months, and I couldn't get a hearing. They denied during the Christmas break. I filed the writ, and I couldn't get a hearing on it. So I sent probably 6, 7 emails to the coordinator, like not trying to be disrespectful, but like there's a window here because I can't have the writ heard outside his possession. Didn't happen. We go to the enforcement hearing, and we're in the back chambers collaborating, and I'm getting lectured from the judge on, we'll get a hearing when we're available. Like, man, like I don't know what you want me to tell you. I've got a guy who paid me, and I have that window. So I mean, it's uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, I have one person I'm working for. Again, I've got a reputation. I've got to be professional, but at the end of the day, that person paid me to advocate appropriately for what they're asking for. So it's a different beast, but you're right. It's easy to get intimidated though, and I've done it and I've kowtowed, and it's an uncomfortable place to be for sure. So yeah. Mm. Oh man. Here, let me pick out a few of the questions here. Let's see. Because I like the free flowing conversation, but I do want to let you get a few in. Yeah. Um,
Do you lift every day?
I lift heavy 3 days a week. So I participate in the strongman sport. Um, I was in 2022 about 350 pounds and maybe 50% body fat, like very unhealthy overall. I had just kind of gotten out of like 2 years prior, 3 years prior, gotten away from drugs and alcohol. Got my license back 2 or 3 years prior. I'd started lifting weights and I gotten stronger, but like couldn't like overcome like that hurdle. And so Marchish of 2022, my son, who was 12 at the time, wanted to go to a place called Philmont Scout Ranch in the
Oh,
summer of
sure. Yeah, I did
2023.
that.
Okay, well, So my dad's an Eagle. I'm an Eagle. My son's stopping at Star. He's done, but he was great in Scouts when he was there. So we were like bucket list for us. We're gonna go together. I didn't get to go to Philmont. My dad did as a scout. I'm gonna take my son. So we're all three gonna go summer of 23. So March of 22, I made the decision. I'm gonna go summer of 23. Well, they have a BMI requirement, which I don't meet now, even in great shape. So the only exception to BMI is body fat at 15%. And I don't know how much you know about bodybuilders and shit. That's
You're saying
bodybuilder
to
body
go
weight.
to Philmont, they have a requirement?
Yeah, for BMI. So like the
I
body
didn't
mass
know
index,
that.
height to weight. Yeah. And so maybe they didn't back in the day, but today, you can't have severely obese try because of liability and it's hard. It's up in the mountains and we run a 9-day track. So I made the decision, the commitment, I'm going to go to Philmont with my son, which meant I had to get to 15% body fat in the next 14 months. So the path I chose was I loved the sport of strongman. I found an online strongman coach, former world strongman competitor, and he did the diet and the exercise. So between like March and December, I lost maybe 25 pounds down to 325. Progress, I was a lot stronger, but I wasn't quite like making the progress I needed, and I'm still like 30 something. I did my body fat in January. I was 33%, 315 pounds. And I got a different coach who's my coach now in person named Austin Andrade at my gym here. And between January and when we left in July, I dropped to 17%. They let me go and I dropped like 60 pounds of fat and then got better in the sport. And since then, I was in love with the sport. So we train heavy 3 days a week. We do sprints and sandbags 1 day a week to get the cardio up. I walk or do a rower at home, the assault bike rower or walk maybe 2 or 3 days a week in excess of that. And then the rest is just try to get some sleep and eat a lot. If I'm putting on weight right now, I'm trying to cut out a little in my belly and eating a little less. And that's it. But the three heavy workouts are 2.5 hours. That's why I was somewhat late today. So it's fun though. It keeps my mind away from, it's a place to be. So,
Yeah, it's so
bad
important with
habits aren't
our
there.
job to have an outlet like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I put the headphones are on or I'm with a friend. The phone's on do not disturb. Only my wife or my coach can get through. And
Oh, really?
it's it. And I'm just it's a place I need to challenge myself, to push myself physically and mentally. And I've got goals with weights I want to hit, goals with competitions I want to participate or win. And I think it's probably rescued like the better part of my life. Like I'm the it if to the extent I'm the best version of myself today, it's probably that bleeds into the rest. What do you do outside of work, man?
I guess running and tennis are my main things. Like
Mhm.
I got my daughter into tennis, and I was part of a clinic. I guess it's um had like an injury, but I think I'm ready to get back into it. At one point, I ran a marathon. That was like 10 years ago. It's like
Wow.
marathon runners at some point, like like you maybe stop talking about the marathon so much. Um, but yeah, I
It's
still
a
run.
real
Just
impressive feat though. I mean, like, let's be real. I mean, yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
um, backpacking. Like I went through a backpacking phase a couple years ago. We did like the Grand
Nice.
Canyon and other.
Oh, that's
I'd love
awesome.
to get back into that. I need like a crew, people that want to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Um, like Big Bend, we did that. We did 14er in Colorado. So I love the outdoors, um, skiing, and um, so yeah, it's just really important to blow off some steam and keep your body in shape just so you can keep going with all these crazy cases. Because if your body, your health is your wealth, as they say.
100%. I'm a big dork for chess, the actual game and sport, and the when they're doing the long version of the game where it's 3 hours per side or whatever it is, they say that those guys can burn 8 to 10,000 calories a
What?
day and with the mental strain. Now, I read that online. I don't know how true it is, but I do kind of believe it. And I do think the stress and cortisol buildup we can get in our bodies from the job would, well, I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at a lot of our colleagues struggle with mental health, with substance abuse and weight because they're working their asses off. They're staying until 7, 8 o'clock at night. They're getting yelled at by a boss or a partner attorney or a client or an opposing counsel or and it can overwhelm you. I don't like the idea of complaining about having a first world problem job, and I get that, but there is a reality, there is a cost if you let it. So no, I love
Mm.
hearing like because the I think the physical is essential to handle the mental part of it. Like that's for me. Maybe not everybody's the same, but for me, I probably wouldn't survive. I would probably have been struggling more, looking back into relapsing into bad stuff if I didn't have a place to better myself physically. So uh, that's why I do it. And plus, I'm now got an ego about it and want to keep going. But that's another. And it's required for my marketing. I don't know if I'm not the strongest lawyer in Texas. I don't know what I am anymore. So that's it. I will say the online presence I think is a mixed bag in court. Um, there's a little bit of a you're too good for me vibe sometimes. I'm getting to court and like, dude, like I'm the same dude 2 years ago. I just hired a marketing girl and I'm doing the same crap I was doing. Like there's no difference. I don't know. That's kind of funny. I don't know if you get that with the big presence, but who knows, man. Cool. Well, I mean, I'm happy to talk, but I mean, it kind of feels organic. Anything
Yeah,
else
this
you
is
want to talk about?
awesome.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Sure.
You ever make it down to Bear County or Comal or Kendall or
Well,
anywhere
pretty
down
much
here?
just for advanced.
Okay. Well, you talked about that yesterday. Yeah. Um, are they always in San Antonio? Is it always in the Riverwalk? I think it most
Always.
always crazy. I've went once. I've gone once in my life, and that's sad. Like I've gone once. I buy the legislative update, and then I read that or watch that, and then my friends all go. Okay, I'll be honest. The first year I went, I was married to my ex-wife, and I went to the hotel, got drunk, and then was hit on pretty bad by some out of town female attorneys, and I'm like, maybe I don't need to live this life, and so I'm going to be hard pressed to get over to that environment. I just want to.
I
I'm
hear
not in that
you.
part of my life anymore. But if you come down, it's different, and we can go hang out, get
All
a beer,
right.
or
I'd
go to the
love
gym.
to.
That's a very different experience. And I have a case in Tarrant right now, a very nasty divorce that I have to go up for once every couple of months. So I'll hit you up if that's cool, and
Yeah, I'd love
see
that.
how busy you are that day, and you can watch me either win or get my ass kicked. We'll find out.
All right.
But we'll see.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, man. Okay, so we're gonna post your stuff, but where can people find you and any plea you want to make, what areas of practice, and they want to hire you and all that.
So I have a website, foxlawdfw.com, and I'm pretty easy to find on social media. I think my TikTok handle is Jonathan Fox ATTY for attorney.
All
I do have an Instagram for my business as well and a Facebook. Um, but I am definitely out there and I love making connections with other attorneys. And um, I guess if anybody does have a family law problem, I want to be a resource for them. I'm trying to stick to the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Okay.
But every so often I go afield, but not too often. Um, like to make it home to my family and everything at night.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Right.
but,
Cool, man.
thank you so much for this opportunity. It's good getting to know you.
You too, man. Well, really cool. We'll post all your links, website, the social media handles, and anything family related, probate related, criminal related, they can at least reach out to your office. And if you decide to
All
refer you,
right.
they can, right? Okay. Well, as we
Sure.
wrap up today's episode, I want to thank Mr. Fox for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to share experience, perspective on family law, what it's like practicing the DFW market. If you want to find out more about Jonathan, I'll have his links in the description. That's it for episode, I think, 13 of the Fiegel Files. Thanks for tuning in. Until then, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you need legal help, visit me at divorcelawyersa.com. Follow me on my social media platforms. Stay strong and go Tigers.